So, what I do is I share with you all. As I said last night, and I'll continue to say, my platform is different. I want to share with you. I want to, as David Burris, who is my coach, as he would say to us, is I want to give you permission to think differently. I want to be able to give you an understanding, not just talking to you, but to give you an understanding so you can see where we're going, how we're going. How did we get there? So last night, we talked about anger. What was anger and what did it look like? And the Bible always says, in all of your getting, get an understanding. That's what the Bible says. So if you don't have a clue, you keep doing the same thing over and over again. You keep doing the same thing over and over again. And so just to give you a quick overview, since I didn't get to upload it, anger. What is anger? Anger is often described as a strong feeling of displeasure, hostility, or antagonism. But it's just the surface. It's just the surface. Um, the critical part of anger is almost always a secondary emotion. It's a secondary emotion. It's the bodyguard for more vulnerable feelings underneath pain, fear, shame, grief, helplessness, betrayal. We feel those deeper wounds, and anger rushes in to protect us from from feeling them fully. That's what anger does. And then last night we talked about the different aspects of anger. We have an outward expression, which is raised voices and yelling and screaming, physical aggression or threatening behavior, slamming doors, throwing things. And when I re-record this, and you can see it on my YouTube page. I have a YouTube page, yeah. And it is Tea with Lady DJ, just as it is here. On my YouTube page, it is Tea with Lady DJ. And it will have all of these things. But for those that were with me, or not with me last night, just to give you a brief understanding, that there's an inward expression, anger turned against itself. And that's persistent negative self-talk or self-criticism. Have you ever done that? Have you? This one right here was me. Was me. Self-sabotaging behaviors. Self-sabotaging behaviors. Have you ever done that? Welcome in. Welcome in. You are welcome in. Thank you for coming. Or chronic guilt and shame. Chronic guilt and shame. Then there's a passive expression, and that's silent treatment, an emotional withdrawal, or sarcasm, mockery disguised as humor. And then there's the physical manifestation of anger, the physical manifestation of anger, and that's tension in the jaw. This was me. Tension in the jaws, shoulder, and stomach. I don't anymore, but I would grind my teeth until my dentist said that my teeth were as if they were glass, that I had just grind them so much. But had I not had that outlet, I would have had a serious ulcer. And that was the physical manifestation. My high blood pressure. I had 4 TIAs before I had a major stroke and was on the brain injury unit for 2.5 months. That's how all of that, as I said, resolved, unprocessed suppression. That's what happens when that's how it comes out. When we're angry. And sometimes we don't even know how we're acting. We say things to people. Our tongue is sharp. And it hurts people's feelings. People that have not done a thing to you. Yeah. So why are you so angry? This is the confrontational question that cuts through the noise. It cuts completely through the noise. I am asking you to stop and actually examine your anger rather than expressing it or suppressing it. Now, that's just a brief overview of what we did last night, getting an understanding of what anger is. I'm sorry, I still have my jazz playing in the background. I am so sorry. Okay. So, but tonight we're going to talk about B. Welcome in. Welcome in. Tonight we're going to talk about taking an honest look inward. Taking an honest look inward, or introspection, or introspection. Could it be unresolved, unprocessed, suppressed emotions? What do I mean when I say unresolved? What does that mean? It means the situation or the relationship never reached closure. Hold on to that word, closure. The conversation never happened. The apology never came. The truth was never spoken. Justice was never served. You never got to say goodbye. The wound was open, but never properly closed. When I talk about unresolved issues, I'm not saying you need the other person to resolve it with you. So often you hear people say, well, I didn't have closure. You're wanting something from the other person to give you closure. I'm not saying you need an apology, their acknowledgement, their participation in your healing. That's not what I'm saying. Unresolved means you have not, not them, you have not resolved it within yourself. It means you are still carrying it, still stuck on it, still waiting for something from them that may never come. Resolution. True resolution is something you do for yourself. True resolution is something you do for yourself, by yourself, within yourself. And that was the hardest part for me. That was the hardest part. Because I used to say, to this day, he has not apologized. I remember when he made me think that I didn't see what I saw. And to this day, he has not. But now, on the other side of me working on me, I could give a care whether he apologizes or not. You do, and I do too. You do, indeed. You can solve what happened without them ever saying sorry. You can find closure without their participation. You can heal without their acknowledgement. You can. Does it feel better when they own what they did? Absolutely. Absolutely. Would an apology help? Absolutely. But you cannot make your healing dependent on their cooperation. You cannot make your healing dependent. Oh, better late than never, because that gives them power over your freedom. So if your healing is contingent on them apologizing, I've given them power that they should never have. I've given them power over my freedom. No. This is where last week, if you were with me for the 3 days, there was an acronym, OAR, which was ownership, accountability, and responsibility. So this is where ownership comes in. You own your healing journey. You own your healing journey. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait for them to release you. You release yourself. You release yourself. Waiting for closure from the offending person keeps you stuck. It does. You keep waiting for it and it never shows up, and it keeps you stuck. And the things that the voices in your head say, you know, I'm speaking from experience, okay? Where I'm not any longer, I'm sharing with you that when I released me, it was the difference between night and day, because they may never apologize. They may never acknowledge what they did. They may be dead, gone, and or unreachable. They may be. Oh, I probably will, Miss J. Rob, because this last night was a short night, but I have a lot to explain to you all tonight. So I probably will be, okay? And you know me, I'll take a break in here so we can get the numbers up and all of that other good stuff. So I'll keep that in mind. Be safe getting home, okay? Be safe. They may not even think they did anything wrong. They may not. Hey, who, Dad? How are you? They may not think that they did anything wrong. They may not be capable of giving you what you need. They may gaslight you or deny your reality. You have to know what that feels like. You know what you saw, and they say, but that's not what you saw. And you want to say, I could have touched you. I was so close to you. And yet they keep stressing, that's not what you saw. Or you know how that old statement, that want me? Yeah, it was you. They may make it worse if you try to engage them. And that's what I didn't want. Thank you, Lady B. Thank you, sister. Real closure is something you give yourself. Closure means you accept what happened. You accept what happened. It did. It was what I saw. And no devil in hell can tell me different. I saw what I saw. You acknowledge the impact it had on you. Mhm. You process the emotions around it. You decide what it means and what power it has going forward. What power it has going forward. I'm thinking wrong thinking. I'm thinking the next time I see that heifer, this is truth. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that said the next time. And it was placing the blame on the wrong person. On the wrong person. You release the expectation that they will ever make it right. You almost flip it off. You know, it's never going to take place. They're never person enough to say that they wronged you. You choose to move forward without their participation in your healing. This is where the OAR comes in. Ownership. You own your pain, your anger, your need for closure. Whether they ever acknowledge it or not, you own it. You own it. You hold yourself accountable. You hold yourself. So stop lying to yourself. We do that so often. We lie to ourselves. We want everyone else to be true to us, but we're not true to us. We lie to ourselves often. We're never honest. You hold yourself accountable for your healing, not waiting for them to come and give you permission to heal. They've gone on about their life. They don't give a fat baby's backside about you and what state of mind you were in. They've moved on. And then you have to question yourself, was there something ever there? They moved on so quickly. And the answer is yes, there was. But what we don't know is where did it go awry? Where did it just crumble? Responsibility. You take responsibility for creating your own closure. You take responsibility for creating your own closure, your own peace, your own resolution. I'll tell you something funny. It was very hard for me. This person that I thought I would be with him until, as our vows said, until death do us part. Thank you all so much for the gifts. Are you all tapping the screen? Are you? So it was the weekend that my son was to be with his father. And I got up in the king-size bed and I ordered Chinese everything. I had donuts, I had rice, I had broccoli chicken, I had bourbon chicken, I had everything. And I had this huge bottle of wine. And so I put a tablecloth over I get tickled at this right now, over my bed, right? Like I was having a picnic in my bed. No closure. I'm just out there. And I didn't even have a glass for the wine. I set the bottle in the bend of my leg because I was laying on the bed and I was eating out of this and I was eating out of this. I had a big bottle of wine. And so I would just take the bottle of wine and take it straight to the head. When I woke up, you all, I can't believe I'm sharing this with you. When I woke up, I had rice up my nose because I was face down in the rice, in my hair. The bottle was finished. I finished it. I finished it. And I said to myself right then, what if my son was here to see this poor? And it was at that moment I said, never again. Never again. Never will I allow someone to take me screaming and hollering down the rabbit hole this far. I'm talking about nobody but God kept me from aspirating that rice. I'm face down in it. So sometimes the closure is simply saying, I will never get what I need from this person, and I'm going to heal anyway. Now let's look at unprocessed. Unprocessed means you never actually felt and moved through the emotions. You never did. You experienced the trauma or hurt, but you stuffed it down to survive. Stuffed it down to survive. So when I was coming through, I didn't have the luxury of going into your job like you can see some people, and they go, oh, what is wrong? Oh, I'm going through my divorce. And no, because I'm a melanated woman. Whatever it was that I was feeling when I got to my job, I needed to squash it down. And I had to perform. I had to keep my job. How else was I going to? And I want you all to understand something. This is not just a woman thing. I can't stress that enough. Men go through these same things. They go through it even, I want to say worse, because people say, well, you are a man. It doesn't matter. You have feelings. Distracted yourself to avoid the pain. So you took on extra work, you extra activities because you didn't want to go home, because once you went home, the realization is that that person is no longer there. Whether it's death of a person or a divorce, they're no longer there. Minimizing it. It wasn't that bad. Lie, pants on fire, you lie. It was that bad. And you lied to yourself. And how did that make you feel? Rationalizing. No. Rationalize it away. Numbed with substance. Did I say that nicely? Numbed with substance, work, busyness, relationships. You got out of a long-term relationship, whether it was divorce or you all went your separate ways, and you immediately got in a relationship with someone else. You haven't processed what you just came out of. And the person that you get into a relationship thereafter, there was a song, Catching Hell. I don't know, you all are not as old as I am, but there's a song called Catching Hell. And that's what that person does. They catch hell for something that you did not process. They catch hell for unresolved issues. And it's not pretty. Oh, we're almost there. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. You all tap the screen. I'm going to take a sip. And then I'm going to come back because I've got quite a bit more to go. So, is it cold? Has it been cold where you all are? Are you weathering it? I never ever, while you are tapping the screen, thank you so much. I never ever change my thermostat. It is set on 70 all the time. So it's 70 for the air conditioning. It's 70. Hey, Addie, how are you? It's 70 for the heat. Today, it was 12 degrees. The wind chill factor made it feel like it was 13 below zero. And I couldn't get warm. I couldn't get warm. I turned my temperature up. I've never done that. I've never done that, but I did. I turned it up. So, where are we? Are we still tapping? Okay. The next is never gave yourself permission to grieve, rage, or feel the full weight of what happened. You never gave yourself permission to grieve. I have been with my mother the whole time, 6 years in the nursing home, went through breast cancer, went through radiation, but I never missed a day with my mother. I had both of my knees replaced. As soon as I could, I was back at my mother's. And when they called and said that it was time for me to be there, on the way there, I was like, Lord God, give me one more day with my mother. And it was inevitable that it was going to come, right? Right. But I just wanted one more day with my mother. And God gave me 2 more days with my mother. And she was holding my hand when she took her last breath. And they had a beautiful, beautiful courtyard where my mother was. And I went out there and I sat by myself. And I just screamed. I screamed. And nobody bothered me. They gave me my space. You know what I'm saying? That rage. I don't know why I thought she was going to be here forever, but it was that rage. I gave myself permission to go through that. But some of us never give ourselves permission to grieve, to rage, or feel the full weight of it. Suppressed means you've actively pushed the emotions down, often because it wasn't safe to express it at that time. It was not safe to express it at that time. You were told your feelings were wrong, too much, dramatic. Your feelings, too much, you're being dramatic. They're wrong. You had to be strong for others. You had to be strong for others. My mother said to me before she took her last breath. Now, Donna, you're the oldest, and you have to keep the family together. Do you understand the weight of that? Now, my mother and father are gone. There's parts of me that's feeling like an orphan. Yet I have to be strong for my brother and my sister. That's a lot. That's a lot. You having to be strong for others. You were taught that certain emotions were unacceptable. Now, this right here, I say that this is for the men, because society never gives a man permission to express his feelings. If he cries, they say he's a simp, or he's zesty, or he must be zesty. All of those labels, that man hurts. The numbers, they talk about mental and physical abuse of women are so much higher than they are for men. It's because a man cannot go and say, she abused me, she did this to me. Because if I lay hands on her like she laid hands on me, I'm going to jail. So, they've never were taught that certain emotions were unacceptable. We do this to male children. We do this to male children. He falls down. He skins his knee. And it hurts. And it's bleeding. And we say, oh, stop. It didn't hurt. Come on. It's not that bad. But the dickens, it knocked my skin off. But if it was a little girl who fell, then we pick it up and we dust it off and we kiss the boo-boo and make it feel better. What kind of sense does that make? Suppressed. I can't cry. I can't hurt. And then those inward physical manifestations causes heart attacks, causes strokes, all kinds of things, because we were not allowed to release it. You were afraid of what would happen if you let them out. You were afraid. You know how it was said back in the day? Maybe you all have even heard it. What goes on in this house stays in this house. How horrific was it? And you were not able to say anything. As a matter of fact, not only were you not able, you were afraid of what would happen if you let them out. If you said it, you were afraid. You believed you didn't deserve to feel hurt or angry about it. You believed that. Here's the truth. Emotions that aren't expressed and processed, they don't disappear. They do not disappear. They go underground and run your life from there on. And ruin your life from there on. They become the hidden operating system, determining your reaction, your relationship pattern, your self-sabotage, and your chronic anger. That rage you feel when someone cuts you off in traffic, that rage, where does it come from? It might be connected to all of the times in childhood when you felt powerless and unheard, that disproportionate anger when your partner forgot something small. It might be tied to a deeper fears of abandonment or not mattering. That fury at injustice in this world. In this world, it might be your own unprocessed experiences of being treated unfairly. Do you see what I'm talking about? Do you, thus far, can just put a 1 in the chat. Can you see why it would affect your countenance? How that you all call it the resting the face? Can you see how this could affect the possibility of you being in a healthy relationship because you've never addressed it? You've never been honest with you. You have never. The anger becomes the tip of the iceberg, the 10% that's showing above the water. The other 90% is all of that unresolved, unprocessed, suppressed emotional material beneath the surface. Beneath the surface. That's what hurts. But you must be honest and truthful with you. This is the non-negotiable requirement. This is where the work actually begins. My thought was, I'm telling this person this, I shamed myself. I'm sharing this with somebody I don't even know. You cannot heal what you will not reveal, not even to yourself. Take it to the bank and cash it. You cannot heal what you will not reveal, even to yourself. And here's what makes this so hard. Can we do a power tap? I'm going to stop for a few minutes. Give me a sip. And then we're going to start again. Can we do a power tap? The ladies, 2 of my friends that are here tonight, said, you were so calm last night and you just got up out of there. And I was thinking to myself, they're going to say, I talked too much tonight. You can't make them happy. Welcome in, Marvin. Welcome in. So, you cannot heal what you will not reveal, not even to yourself. And here's what makes this so hard. We lie to ourselves constantly. Not just every now and then, constantly. I'm over it, but you're not. It didn't really affect me, but it did. I've forgiven them, but you're still angry. I don't think about it anymore. Lie, but it still drives your behavior. I'm fine, but you're not fine. You're not fine. So why do we lie to ourselves? Why do we do this? Why? Fear of pain. Marvin, thank you. Thank you so much. So why do we do this? Fear of pain. If we admit how much it hurt, we'll have to feel it. If we admit how much it hurt, we'll have to feel it. Pride. Admitting we are wounded feels like weakness. Thank you. Thank you. Shame. Believing we should be over it by now. Well, it was double shame. Double shame that I have to say I'm divorced. And no one's listening. It hurts. I was married for 23 years. Man, this hurts. We became one. And now, as Miles Monroe would say, there's a tearing apart. Yet they said that, oh, you should be over it by now. Well, that's not true. That's not true. And my thought was then, if I'm supposed to be over it by then, did I really love him? Did he really love me? Then I had to understand it's just about me now. I've got to answer those questions. I've got to work on me. Overwhelmed. The truth feels too big to face. Overwhelmed. It's just when I got to the point of being overwhelmed, I made a decision. And God, nobody but, used my son to speak to me. And my son said, if something happens to you, who is supposed to take care of me? And he didn't even wait for an answer. He was gone. He was just there in front of me, and then he was gone. And the emotions that I had that I would even consider, but I did. I was down so far that the Gophers bought my mail. And that's unresolved, unprocessing, suppression, because people are saying, you need to be over this, you need to move on, you need to get out and date, you need to do this. As Marvin would say, shut up, shut up. Please, right now, shut it up. Loss of identity. We have built our sense of self around being strong and fine. Loss of identity. Do you know what that feels like? When you don't even know who you are. You've just been absorbed into this other person. Fear of what comes next. If I admit the truth, what then? What do I have to do about it? What do I have to do about it? If I admit this hurts so freaking bad. It hurts down beyond the white meat. It hurts. Being honest and truthful with yourself means admitting the anger is there. The anger is there, even when you have been pretending it's not. The anger is there. Acknowledging how deeply something hurt you, even years later. It hurt. Recognizing patterns in your relationships and behavior that you have been denying. Accepting that you're not as healed as you thought you were. Because you have not sat still long enough to process what you've been through, to process, to find out who are you, to process unresolved deep questions with yourself. You've not done any of that. You just used another person to be your Band-Aid, and you wanted that person to fix how you felt, and they don't even know you. So you're in and out of relationships because you've never done this. You've never taken time here. So this cannot be well. Hey, Tony, welcome in. Owning that your coping mechanisms might actually be avoidance. And I'm going to do, anyway, we'll talk about these different styles. Avoidance mechanism. Facing the fact that you might need help. Facing the fact that you might need help. A therapist, a support group, community. You might need help. I'm just barely helping myself. I can't help you. I can't. You can't. That's just too much weight to carry. That's just too much. This honesty is terrifying because it means you can no longer pretend everything is fine. The pretense has to stop. But it's also the doorway to freedom. It's also the doorway to freedom. Yeah. Hey, Bam, how are you? You can't address what you will not acknowledge. You cannot address what you will not acknowledge. You just can't. So, have you suffered in silence? This question acknowledges something profound and often overlooked: the lonely burden of unprocessed pain. Suffering in silence means no one knows the full extent of what you've been through. You've kept up the appearance, smile through the pain, function while breaking inside. Paula, will you escort them to the door, please? Thank you. You've kept up the appearance, smiled through the pain, functioned while breaking inside. You've carried it alone, either because you didn't feel safe sharing, didn't want to burden others, or didn't think anyone would understand or care. You've minimized your own experience, telling yourself others have it worse, or I should just get over it. Minimizing what you've went through. It's not good. You have been the strong one, the one everyone leans on, never showing your own need for support. Never showing your own need for support. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You've hidden behind anger. You've hidden behind anger because anger feels more powerful than admitting you are hurting, you are scared, and grieving. So you hide behind anger. Those persons that you hear male bashing, those persons that you hear female bashing, they're hiding behind. And it makes them feel strong. And when you've gone through the process, you recognize it. You recognize it. The question, have you suffered in silence, is validating, acknowledging that yes, I have suffered, even if no one knew. Yes, I have. Inviting, creating a space for that silence to be broken. Creating a space for it. Compassionate, recognizing the courage it took to survive, even if it meant hiding your pain. This is you with you. This is not you with someone. This is you with you. That's the reason why I say often, I'm okay with me. You know why I can say I'm okay with me? It's because I went through the process of learning that I am a safe place. I am a safe place. When I sit here and I have some jazz on and I have a vodka and pomegranate juice and it's just quiet, it is so peaceful. Some people have a blue room where they can go and play their music. Where is your safe place that you have created for you? It's okay. And I'm okay with me. Many people are walking around with entire histories of pain that no one knows about. No one knows about until they pray. There's childhood abuse or neglect that have never been spoken of. There's traumatic experiences they've never processed. Grief they've never fully expressed. Betrayals they pretend didn't wound them. Lies, lies, lies. Fears and insecurities they've never voiced. Fears and insecurities that they've never voiced. And that silent suffering, it calcifies into a chronic anger, depression, anxiety, relationship dysfunctions, and self-destructive patterns. Some of these things that you hear and see and listen to, that's what it is. They've suffered, in silence, and it's calcified, and their hearts are hardened. Chronic anger. Well, I'll tell him this, and I won't do this, and I wish I would. All of this. Depression, anxiety, relationship dysfunction. You're in and out of a relationship, in and out, in and out. Sit down. Sit down. How many persons will you ruin because you will not take time for you? How many? Breaking the silence is the first step towards healing. It means speaking the truth of your experience, allowing yourself to be seen in your pain, seeking support therapy, or community. No longer pretending to be unaffected. Giving voice to that part of you that has been muted. We have, and what I'm about to say is not to be disrespectful or rude to anyone, but we are so, excuse me for just a second, let me do this. Uh-oh, I didn't do it right. Ah, well now, okay. Every time I took it off, my finger off, it slid back just a little, and I thought it was going to kick me out. Then y'all were going to be able to see my anger. No, I'm just joking. But giving voice to the parts of you that have been muted. I hope you all got all of this. That's the end for tonight. That's the end for tonight. And tomorrow night, we will discuss how ownership, accountability, and responsibility, how you can bring this. This is a choice. Your emotions, your anger, your happiness, that's a choice. You've made choices to be pissed to the highest pistivity. You have made choices. You've elected your choice of not seeking help. Seeking help. Can't do it by myself. But getting in a relationship with this person who doesn't know me can't help me either. But that there are tools. There are tools that a therapist has. And what I was going to say before I had to do that puzzle was be mindful. Just because they have coach in front of their name or behind their name, be mindful. That's all I'm saying. The things that I share with you all, I've got a whole ottoman here behind me of information that I can pull out that was given to me when I was coming through. And now, 28 years later, I'm happy. I am happy beyond what you can even imagine, because I did the work. I put time in. I wasn't so anxious to be in a relationship. I needed to take time for me. You need to take time for you. Someone else. And you say, and I shared this with one of my moderators last night and a friend. You say, I want to hear him say, I got you. Well, he's been saying it. I want a godly man. He has been as godly as God can be. And he's always has been saying, I got you. You know who that is? God. You want to hear him say, I got you? Then stop for a second. Sit down for a second. Take time for you and listen to him say,